Hi, my name is Kaleela, and in this video that I'm making, it's kind of, I suppose, an update on me and just who I am and why I'm making these videos. So I started making them because it was part of my healing journey. It was my way of socializing without having to go out and talk to people face to face. It's kind of a chicken way of doing it, I know, but it helped me to be seen. When I'd share my videos and I would get likes or views and things like that, and subscribers, I figured that there's something to what I'm saying, that there are people that can understand and relate to me. I've always felt like I was alone within my family. I'll backtrack and give you a little bit of history. I am the youngest of 4 kids. I suppose you could add my parents to that and say 6 kids in the house. And I was the youngest. Both of my parents came from very abusive homes, to say the least. My mom was one of, I think, 9 kids that survived to adulthood. My grandmother had lots of babies, but most of them didn't survive. She was taking some kind of fertility drug at the time because otherwise she didn't have her menstruation. She couldn't get pregnant. And of course, when you're out working in the fields in Tennessee, the more hands you have out in the field, the more money comes in, right? So you want to have a large family and make sure that some of them actually, make it to adulthood. So I believe there was like 9 children for her, and she was somewhere in the middle, probably like the low end of the middle, I think. She wasn't one of the older ones. But anyways, my father was right smack in the middle in his family, and there was 4 boys and 3 girls. Yeah. So anyways, abusive homes for both of them. Both of them ran away. And I say ran away as in my father is from Sweden and he moved to California from Sweden and left everyone behind. And my mom was from Tennessee and she moved to California, leaving all her family behind. They met in California, and my mom at that point already had 2 children. She was pregnant, should I say, with her second child when she met my father. And then she had my brother and then me. So by the time I was born, when my dad was 27. So figuring less than 40 with 4 kids in the house to take care of. And he was already in the process of buying the home that I grew up in. So it was a stressful situation for them both. My mom being, I'd say, well, she would have been diagnosed with bipolar for sure. She definitely had issues. When she was young, a doctor had told her that she would never have the mind of an adult, that she would always have a child's mind. And I never quite understood what that meant. But here I am at my age, 61, still feeling like the little child that, wants to go climb in the trees and play in the mud kind of thing. I never grew up either. Part of my story on why I see that as my reality is my mom left when I was 11, and my dad was free to date, and I stayed with him. So he's out all the time between work and dating and having a social life. There would be times where we might go a whole week without seeing him face to face. There'd be like notes being left on the table with some money for lunch or dinner or something, whatever. And so I started raising myself from a very early age. Prior to her leaving, her being mental, she wasn't safe for me. She was very jealous of me and very verbally abusive. I'm grateful that I wasn't physically abused by her. The physical abuse came from my father. So I grew up fearing him. And so, yeah. I wasn't diagnosed with my neurodivergent brain with learning disabilities until I was in college. So school was a struggle, there was just no safe place for me. I ran away a lot. Before I was old enough to run away, I would hide, and I could hide for hours. I had really good hiding spots where they just never found me. And that was fun. I loved that. It was like peace. It was safe, because not only did I have to fear my mom with her abuse and my dad's abuse, but I also had my siblings, especially the two youngest, younger than the oldest. My oldest sister, she kind of was gone all the time, so she wasn't really one of my abusers too much. But I had a sister who was 4 years older, and then I have a brother who's 2 years older, and they hated me. And so hiding was the only safe place. They both tried killing me. My brother more than my sister. I remember at least a couple of times where my sister had put the pillow over my face, wanting to suffocate me. And it could have been just that they were joking around with the pillow, who knows. After my father's passing, my brother admitted to me that the times that he tripped me into the fireplace and into the coffee table, that was attempts from a very young boy trying to kill me, trying to kill his baby sister. And I say baby sister because I was about 3 or 4 when those incidents happened. When I was about 12, between 11 and 12, he drowned me in the pool, and then, of course, had to revive me. Thus, I'm here. So there was a lot of just feeling like I wasn't wanted. I mean, if your own family can't love you, I must not be lovable. And so it took me a long, painful journey to get to where I am today, and loving myself and taking care of this body, and in being in gratitude for this experience that I get to have. And that's one of the reasons why I make these videos, to share that no matter how deep, dark it goes, you're still here, and you get to change your trajectory at any point in time. So one of the things that comes to mind as I say that is, if you have a point, if I'm starting right here and I'm going in this straight line, if I make just 1 degree turn, if I just the smallest of change, and I keep going that direction, it's going to take me to a completely different place than where I would have kept going otherwise. So I'm on a, I guess, health kick. My mom told me when I was about 5 that you just wait, one day you're going to be fat like me. And not only was she obese, but she was also very unhealthy. And she was constantly going to the doctor and constantly on medications and just doing all of this stuff all the time. And she hated her life, and she hated being fat. And that was like the worst thing she could say, is you're going to be fat like me one day, because she hated her body for that. And so I started very young paying attention to the food that I put in and what I was doing. And if mom did it, I would definitely do a double, triple, quadruple thought about it. Like, do I really want to do this? Is this safe? Thinking about this multiple times, analyzing it. So my trajectory, that little nudge that she put me on took me in an entirely different direction. Instead of going down the path of eating deep fried pork skins and stuff like that, because my mom just loved all those things, and fried fatty foods. Yeah, she's from the South. So that was a big part of my health journey. Got started at a very young age. So once we make even the littlest of changes, it makes a huge impact on the direction that we're going. So recently I've started doing more fasting. I've been on a breatharian trajectory, and that has helped with my neurodivergent brain. I'm able to be a lot more calm. I've been doing microdosing with mushrooms for nearly 6 years now. This is 2025. So yeah, nearly 6 years roughly that I first started doing microdosing, and that was a tremendous help for me. I literally went from, there would have been no way in hell I would have made a video. I didn't even talk to people when the grocery store clerk that's trying to ring me up, they're like, everything's okay? Yeah, fine. And I'm just like, don't talk to me. I would look away and try not to make eye contact just to avoid conversation. That's how bad my, as I referred to it as being a painful introvert was. It wasn't just being an introvert, it hurt. I felt it in my body. And when people would try and talk to me, I just wanted to scream in pain. Gosh, having flashbacks to that memory right now. It was hard. It was really hard. We will be called to, seeds will get planted. They'll get watered over time. Like I first heard about microdosing with mushrooms was probably at least 10 years before I did it, if not longer, of hearing about how it can help open up the mind and make you feel happier. I quite honestly didn't feel like I deserved to be happier. And that was one of the resistance to trying it, was, do I deserve to have happiness? Is that right for me? I am supposed to be just miserable and just existing and just making it through life. I'm not supposed to enjoy it. So that was a rough one for me. But that once I made that step with the microdosing, then I started to socialize more. I started to make friends, even just little connections. I mean, talking to somebody at the store for 10 minutes and just kind of connecting on a certain level. That was a gift. That was something special for me because I didn't get those things before. So I'm sharing all of this, my story, because I know that we all have our own story. We all have our struggles. We all have our traumas that help form us. And I think about like a ball of clay. And it's when we're born, we're this ball of clay. And we already have certain things that are just hardwired into us via our birth sign when we came, our physical, our cellular memories, so to speak, from both of our parents, as we are physically part of them. But then we also have the spirit that comes in that's had multiple lives and had experiences. All of that comes in to form who we are from the moment we're born, right? But then every experience we have, we give pieces of ourselves away. We might hold on to some of them reluctantly to let go. Sometimes, it takes a big punch or something really traumatizing to say, okay, I'm going to let go of that. I'm not going to hold on to that belief. I am worth more. I have to let go of thinking that I am a victim. And I have to embrace the fact that I get to choose if I'm a victim or not, and not be that victim. Victim mentality is huge. And a lot of people do what's called trauma bonding, where I'm going to go with my own personal stories. So being sexually abused, especially as a young child, the first experience for me, I was about 4 years old. And the little boy was a year older than me. He had witnessed his parents, and apparently they said that that's, a game parents play, adults play. And he wanted to play it. That was the story he gave me anyways. I felt very dirty after that. And I had to quit using washcloths in the bathroom and when I in the bathtub when I would wash, because I literally for I don't know how long, it could have been months, maybe even a couple of years. I have no idea about that. I just remember scrubbing constantly to where it hurt to dry with the towel because my skin was already scrubbed raw. That was a hard one. But I was a victim at that point. My mom told me that you just wait. Men are going to do things to you. You have that bod. Because I was a skinny little kid with little curvies as far as she was concerned. And, men are going to do things to you and it's your fault because you have that body. So she reinforced that. And this is someone who told me, don't touch your private parts because, that's evil. That's nasty or whatever, right? All of a sudden it's okay that men are going to do this to me because I have this body. It's just going to happen. I was 11 the next time I was sexually abused. And it was pretty violent. And it hurt. The man was at least 15 years older than me. He was like in his late 20s, early 30s when I was abused. And I didn't tell anyone because it was my fault. And I felt so much shame. There were plenty of more rapes after that because I was the victim. The victim walks around like this. They don't make eye contact. They don't have a positive, upright stature. They're like this, just slunched over, head down, don't look at me, don't talk to me. And that's the perfect victim because you're not going to remember what I looked like. You're not going to speak up for yourself. You're not even probably going to report it, which I never reported any of them. Not even when the police did it, because, hey, I was raped by a cop the last time I was raped. It was a cop. He had been trying to get me to go out with him for months. And I finally agreed to go out with him. It was an afternoon date. Went to the theater with some of his friends we met with. And then he goes, look, let's take you out to dinner. It's like, oh, that sounds great. We'll go get some dinner after the movie. Do you mind if we go back to my place first, he says. I'm going to change because you're dressed so nice and I'm just in jeans and a t-shirt. Let me put on something nicer to take you to somewhere nice, he says. And he raped me. I'm not going to go into details. I cried. And then he took me home. Didn't take me out to dinner. We didn't have that evening that I didn't want that evening. I just wanted to go home. He called me about 2 months later, maybe 3 months later, wanting to go out again and totally in denial over the fact that he had raped me. He sat there going, what are you talking about? You wanted it rough. It's like, no, I was crying, please stop, and you had your hand over my mouth. And he was in complete denial over the whole thing. It was kind of crazy. But anyways, after that, I really decided that no man will ever hurt me again. And I have stood up to men. I have changed my stature. I will not be a victim again. So that's part of my story. My fun little neurodivergent brain. Gosh. I honestly remember being in, I believe it was 2nd grade, because 1st grade I was doing really good on my spelling. I was doing great in school, had no issues. I could read, no problem. And then all of a sudden my mom has me get in line because they sent home a little form to sign, permission slip, for a free vaccine. And I don't think that they even disclosed what it was for. It was just a free vaccine. My mom said, well, you can never be too safe. Go ahead and get it. So she made me get in line for that shot. And I literally within, halfway through the school year, I know it was at the beginning of the school year, halfway through the school year, I could hardly even spell my name sometimes. And I remember the words on the page. This happened a few times. The words on the page just got up and danced. The letters would move around and they would change configuration, and I'd be looking at one word and then I'd look away and look back and it's changed into something else. But I didn't tell anybody because the little boy that was sitting next to me, when I asked him if his book did the same thing, and he's like, you're crazy. My mom was already mental institutionalized a few times at that point. You don't want to be called crazy. They're going to lock you up. So I didn't say anything. I never told my parents. I never told the teacher or counselor or doctor or anybody what my brain perceived the words doing. I thought there was something wrong with me. So that was my, I guess, understanding as an adult looking back. That was the same time period that I had gotten that shot. Was it directly responsible? I don't know. I don't even know what the shot was for. My mom didn't know what the shot was for. It was literally an experimental vaccine that was supposed to help prevent disease. Who knows what they put in my body. So that being said, that's just part of what makes me me. Diagnoses, if you wish. I was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD. And I always say it's a capital H in that HD, and it's in bold print because I can't sit still. My body wants to move all the time, which is one reason why I talk with my hands a lot. And I also fidget in the way I'm sitting. And I always sit cross-legged because sitting at a chair had always bothered my back. And even though my back's not an issue anymore, that's still very new. And so I still prefer sitting cross-legged. And there's no reason why I should not sit cross-legged because it's comfortable. And it's good for the body, right? To be stretching and doing movements instead of just... Anyways, I don't know. I'm going to ramble. That's okay. If you're watching this, appreciate your putting up with my neurodivergent brain. I am self-diagnosed as autistic, although in my reality, everything that just falls under it, the ADHD, dyslexia, dysnomia, which is the word retrieval aspect, and then there's the facial one where I wouldn't call it facial blindness because I can see the face, but it's basically like almost facial blindness where it's like certain characteristics my brain perceives and others it's just kind of muted, to where if I see somebody who reminds me of somebody else, I'm going to struggle to know if it's them or not. As an example, if I know you and I'm at a store that's not in the same town that we know each other in, that you live in, and I see you, I'm going to sit there or stand there and look and try and wait to see if you're going to make eye contact with me and recognize me. I will not say, hey, it's Joe. Hi, Joe. How's it going? Because I've done that in the past. And the person says, I'm not that person. I'm like going, oh, shit, sorry. So I've learned to just wait until you say, hey, how's it going? And like, oh, hi, I thought that was you. But yeah, facial blindness or the facial recognition is a rough one. So I have neurodivergent issues. I'm sure there's more of them that I'm not aware of because I'm still learning to navigate peopling. And peopling is not easy, and people are very different. And I always knew I was different. I always felt like as a child, I would tell people I was from Venus. I was not from Earth. I did not belong here. I did not want to be here. I just remember as a small child, just really recognizing the fact that this isn't home. And trying to make home in a place that you don't feel like it's home has been a huge struggle for me. And I run away a lot. Even still as an adult, I run away a lot. I move and move and move and move and go different places, and I just have never found where I felt like I belonged. Not in groups with people. And I've met people that I connect with on certain levels, for sure, but I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I still don't feel safe. I haven't found that person that I can just totally let everything go, breathe, and trust. You know, those fall exercises? Yeah, those are a huge struggle for me. I tense up. I can't just relax and trust that the person's going to catch me. Because people that I was supposed to trust betrayed that trust over and over and over again. Partners, friends, yeah. So that's part of what makes me me. That's why I say my channel is unapologetically me. I can't be somebody else. I don't know how to. I struggle to be me. I change daily Depends on what's the energies are that if I watch certain shows, it's going to influence how I feel. If I'm around different musics, it not interferes, but it affects if I'm in a good mood, if I'm in a chill mood, if I'm, feeling very grateful, or if I'm feeling a little bit agitated. Depends on the music. I generally keep it very quiet. I've gone weeks without having sounds playing. I mean, I would put on a show and then turn it off, but for the most part during the day, because I don't watch any movies or TV or anything like that, or Netflix or whatever, until evening, like, at least after 5, if not later. It's like I do my running around and cleaning house and doing whatever I'm going to do. I'll listen to my Audible books when I'm driving. That's pretty much the only time I listen to them. But, yeah, learning how to do my day and having noises going on, if it's a music or something like that, I want to be able to pay attention to it in some way, not completely. I like some background where I'm not like, if I'm knitting, I'll have the shows on while I'm knitting so that it's kind of like this mindless chatter, so that it helps me stay calm. It helps me sit. Like I'm sitting here knitting, I'm watching the show kind of thing, right? But if there's no show and I'm sitting knitting, it's like I shouldn't be sitting here knitting. I should be doing that or that or that. And I can't, my mind gets distracted, which is why I have things running and chattering. And apology. No, I'm unapologetically me, so I don't want to apologize. I appreciate you hanging out with me for this. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper in me and my journey, because each step that we take to improve ourselves makes that huge difference. Remember, I was talking before about that 1 degree and how it changes. So my most recent big shift has been doing urine therapy. And yes, that's drinking your own beautiful golden elixir of life, right? And one of the effects that drinking your urine has is healing the brain. And I noticed the very first time I drank it, a huge shift, and just feeling more alert, feeling that things were more clear, understanding when I was listening to like a YouTube video about, like, I love listening to Alan Watts and, or things like that. There's The Alchemist. She's an amazing one. But I'm listening to my videos like that, and it's making more sense, and I'm understanding it on a deeper level. So I found huge shift right away. And I don't anticipate everybody has that, especially depends on the quality of what you're intaking was going to have a huge influence on how good the quality that you're getting back out, right? But our urine also, kind of like our body's manufacture, just like our brain is like the chemical factory, right? So if you get injured, it's producing the morphine, so you're not hurting so much. Just kind of like sits that in. You have the adrenaline rush and stuff like that, floods the body so that you can get out of a dangerous situation, kind of thing. So we have this chemical factory up here. Well, our bodies produce all of the chemicals that we need. That's what that golden elixir is for. It's to say, here's all this great stuff that your body needs. Here's some more stem cells. Here's some blood plasma. Here's some hormones. Here's some vitamins, nutrients, your minerals, the good metals that our bodies need, right? With copper, whatever. Gold is in our urine. Go figure that. We've got gold in our urine. So we re-ingest that, and the body goes, I'm familiar with this. Thank you. I don't have to work so hard to take out what I need from your ingesting, because this is what I need. Thank you. And the body is grateful for it, and it improves your health. So for me, it's been a month of doing that, doing the urine therapy, and the benefits that I've had. I'm breathing better. My glasses are actually, and I generally do wear my glasses, but I'm actually, I wouldn't say in the middle of letting them go, but it is a little bit of a blur. My eyes have to work harder to have the glasses on, so I do need to get my eyes checked again. And that's a benefit. I've been rinsing my eyes with the urine, and putting it up my nose, and putting it in my ears, and putting it all over my skin, so my skin is looking clearer. A lot of those age spots that I had are gone already. The 2 last ones that have been there for, gosh, since I was in my 30s, I've had these, at least. They're fading. So urine therapy is just absolutely amazing to me. But it also kind of like takes you to the next level. So it opens you up to being receptive to higher frequencies, because it's raising your frequency. Everything is vibration and frequency, right? If you go small enough, nothing is solid. Everything is just frequency. It is sound waves, light waves, vibrating, and we slow it down, which is what time is. And I just watched the movie Lucy again, because I love that movie. But she talks about how time is so we get to experience this, because everything is otherwise just moving too fast and you wouldn't be able to see anything. There would be no experience. It would just be zoom. But you slow it down and you get to have this experience. So we're like just little light flickers, if you will, slowed down so much that we get to experience this life. We get to experience interacting with the other light particles, right? So it's fascinating to think about it. And the more you go down that rabbit hole, the more you want to, the more you're learning about just how fascinating it is and what a miraculous thing it is to have this life, to have these experiences. So take your journey however you need to, whatever it feels called to. You feel like, letting go of one negative thing, whether it's coffee or soda or cigarettes or alcohol or, French fries. It can be something that small as just leaving out the French fries when you go and get your burger. And replacing it with maybe carrot sticks, as an example. Making one little change starts you on that trajectory to being healthier and healthier, and making more changes and realizing that you are empowered. It is your choice. You can be healthy. You can have all of the health that you want. You don't need to have somebody else, i.e. a doctor, telling you that you need something that your body doesn't need to be healthy. We don't have deficiencies in these prescriptions in our bodies, but they're just covering up the symptoms. So instead of covering up the symptoms, maybe say, I'm going to work on getting rid of this issue myself. I'm going to find the cause. If the cause is I've been thinking negative thoughts all my life, then let's see if we can't have a positive thought every now and then. Force yourself to have a positive thought, even if you don't believe it. Give yourself a hug. Say, I love you. Scream it if you need to. I love you. You are worth everything. You are worth all of the good things that you want in your life. Versus I don't think that's true. I couldn't do that. I'm not worthy. Then you're not worthy. If you tell yourself you're not worthy, you're not going to see yourself as being worthy. You have to change your program. You have to change the way you talk to yourself. That's huge. And maybe say, you know what? I got this great body here that the Creator gave me to have these experiences with it, with the Creator right by your side, right? Because we are all just fractals of the Creator having this experience. So I've got this body. Why not take care of it? I remember hearing about in church, our bodies are temples. Well, then why would we pollute our own temple? If this is our connection to the higher self, the Creator, the God, whatever you want to call it, why would you pollute it? Why would you damage it? Why would you abuse it? In so many different ways that we abuse our bodies. I mean, it's totally great to have experiences and to go run, do climbing, do rock climbing, and, take risks. Of course, that's what life is about, to have these thrills. But don't sit there and think I can go work out and then go and have your 12-ounce curls. And I'm making that analogy because I used to work in a fitness center. And the guys would talk about that. how they're doing their pumps this way so they can do their pumps this way. Their, you know, the 12-ounce curls down, you know, the fitness center that I was at, they actually had the gym upstairs, which I have no idea why. The gym was upstairs and you go downstairs to the bar. And they would literally do that. They would go down to the bar and have a few drinks. Like, how does that make sense? You're trying to be healthy, but is that just justifying the, I'm going to have the beer now, so it's balancing out, so you're not getting any better. There's no improvement then. Make baby steps. Find one thing that you're willing to let go of. One thing, little thing. And then find one thing that you're willing to do instead. Whether it's, I'm going to skip breakfasts and only have 2 meals a day. I'm going to let my body have that little bit of an intermittent fast so that it gets a break. So that my body has more time to just detox and get rid of all of the toxins that I'm being exposed to. I mean, toxins are in our air, in our water. It's in everything. Obviously, all of our food is just contaminated with the sprays they put on it and everything else. So find one thing that you're willing to do. And find one thing you're willing to let go of. And then maybe find one phrase that you can tell yourself. Whether it's, life is amazing, or there's a good one that I learned from Bashar. Every day in every way, my life gets better and better. Every day in every way, my life gets better and better. And you say that to yourself as many times as you feel like you need to until it feels like it's true. Until it can be said easily without hesitation. Maybe say it to yourself looking in the mirror. Can you tell yourself, looking in the mirror, you're worth it? You're worth being loved? You're worth having this amazing experience? You deserve better than you have right now? Can you do that? Try it. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey.